Imagine this. A respected Black doctor attends a prestigious medical conference, eager to share groundbreaking ideas with his peers. But instead of being welcomed, he finds himself surrounded by police, detained in front of shocked onlookers. What could have led to such an unsettling scene? Was it a misunderstanding or something deeper? As the story unfolds, the doctor's response to this injustice takes everyone by surprise, sparking conversations far beyond the walls of that conference. What he did next turned an upsetting experience into something unforgettable, making headlines and challenging perspectives. In this video, we'll uncover what happened, why it happened, and how one man's actions in the face of adversity became a powerful lesson for us all. Stay with us as we dive into this remarkable story that's about so much more than just one moment. It's about change, resilience, and making a difference. The doctor, dressed in a crisp suit and carrying a professional demeanor, had been mingling with colleagues just moments before. He was there to share his expertise on a topic he had spent years researching, a subject that could save lives. But as he stepped out for a brief break, everything changed. Two officers approached him, their expressions serious, asking him for identification. Confused but cooperative, he complied, handing over his conference badge and explaining why he was there. Despite his calm demeanor and clear credentials, their questioning grew more intense. The murmurs of passersby grew louder, a mix of confusion and discomfort filling the air. Some attendees stopped to watch, while others awkwardly looked away. Why was this happening? Was it a case of mistaken identity, or something else entirely? As tension escalated, the doctor's thoughts raced. Little did anyone know, his next move would spark a conversation no one could ignore. The officers began asking pointed questions, their voices firm but devoid of explanation. Why was he at the venue? Could he prove he belonged there? The doctor gestured to the lanyard around his neck, the badge clearly displaying his name, title, and affiliation with the conference. Yet their eyes seemed to skim past it, as if searching for something else. The crowd around him grew, whispers spreading like wildfire. Some attendees pulled out their phones, capturing the scene while others debated whether to step in or stay silent. From across the lobby, one of the doctor's colleagues noticed the commotion and hurried over. "What's going on here?" she asked, her voice breaking through the tension. The officers barely acknowledged her, their attention fixed on the doctor. He could feel the weight of every stare, the silent judgments and assumptions being made. Inside, a mix of frustration and sadness began to brew, but he stayed composed. This wasn't the first time he had faced something like this, and he knew it wouldn't be the last. However, this time, he wasn't going to let it end while the doctor took a deep breath, steadying himself as the questions continued. Despite his calm explanations, it was clear the officers weren't satisfied. Their tone became sharper, their body language more assertive. The tension in the air was almost unbearable, and the crowd's murmurs grew louder. Some people stood frozen, unsure of what to do, while others began to voice their discomfort. "This is ridiculous," someone muttered from the side. "He's obviously supposed to be here." The doctor's colleague, now visibly upset, demanded an explanation from the officers. "You're detaining one of the keynote speakers for no reason," she said, her voice trembling with both anger and disbelief. Still, the officers didn't back down. The doctor, maintaining his composure, glanced at the growing crowd. He could see the mix of curiosity, concern, and judgment on their faces. In that moment, he made a decision. If they wouldn't listen to his words, he would find another way to make them, and everyone else, see the truth. The tension reached its peak as he began to act, and the crowd leaned in, waiting to see what would happen next. As the doctor began to speak, his voice was steady but carried an undeniable weight. He addressed the crowd first, calmly stating his credentials, his purpose at the conference, and the work he was there to share. His words seemed to ripple through the onlookers, some nodding in understanding, others pulling out their phones to search his name. But before he could finish, one of the officers interrupted, their tone now laced with frustration. "We're just following protocol," they said. "If there's no issue, this will be resolved quickly." That's when something unexpected happened. From the crowd, a voice called out, "Protocol? For what? This man hasn't done anything wrong." The speaker was another attendee, someone who had witnessed everything from the start. Others began to chime in, echoing the sentiment and questioning the officer's actions. The crowd's energy shifted, no longer just spectators, but active participants, demanding answers. The officers hesitated, clearly unprepared for the growing resistance. The doctor's colleague took the opportunity to step forward, showing an email from the conference organizers with his name listed as a speaker. Still, the situation didn't de-escalate. One of the officers reached for his radio, calling for backup, and the tension skyrocketed. The doctor stood tall, refusing to let fear or frustration show. What happened next would leave everyone stunned. Just as the situation reached its breaking point, a senior organizer from the conference rushed into the scene. Her face was a mix of concern and urgency as she approached the officers, holding a printed program in hand. "This man," she said firmly, pointing to the doctor, "is one of our honored keynote speakers. He's here to present his research, and he's done nothing to warrant this treatment." The officers exchanged uneasy glances, the weight of the crowd's growing unrest bearing down on them. Slowly, they began to lower their posture, clearly realizing the situation had spiraled out of control. "It was a misunderstanding," one of them muttered, but the crowd wasn't satisfied with the weak excuse. The doctor, however, didn't lash out. Instead, he turned to the onlookers and spoke with quiet strength. "This moment isn't just about me," he said, his voice carrying over the murmurs. "It's about ensuring no one else has to go through something like this, no matter who they are or what they look like." The crowd erupted into applause, and the officers, now visibly uncomfortable, left without another word. But the story didn't end there. The doctor's words and actions had been caught on countless phones and quickly went viral. Within days, the incident sparked a national conversation, leading to calls for better training and accountability in such situations. The doctor, though shaken, turned the experience into a catalyst for change, using his platform to advocate for fairness and respect. And in that, his unexpected ordeal became something much larger than anyone could have anticipated. In the days that followed, the doctor's experience became more than just a viral moment. It became a movement. News outlets picked up the story, and his calm but powerful response to the situation resonated with people everywhere. Messages of support poured in from colleagues, strangers, and even other professionals who had faced similar challenges. Instead of letting the incident define him negatively, the doctor chose to focus on solutions. He worked with conference organizers to implement changes, ensuring better protocols to prevent such misunderstandings in the future. He also began speaking out more publicly, not just about his medical research, but about the importance of addressing biases and fostering inclusivity. For the doctor, that day at the conference was a turning point. What started as an unsettling experience became a chance to inspire others and spark important conversations. And in the end, his resilience left a lasting impact.